guys, and welcome to this week's lyrical breakdown with me, your lady friend Bonnie. I hope you are doing great. I'm doing pretty great. I'm excited to get into this one. This one comes as a request, and it's from Jonathan Barnes, and he left the comment on the Sean Price Mess You Made lyrical breakdown. So thank you so much for that. So welcome to the show. If you aren't here, or if you're here for the first time, I guess, I break down songs. I break down rap songs, and I'm not an expert or anything. I just do what I think makes sense, and or based off of facts that I am able to find. But yeah, I'm not an expert or anything, but I will tell you my thoughts and feelings and facts if I can. So this is an interesting one. So I think we should just get into it right away. This song came out in 2009. Did I even say what it was? I don't even think I said what it was yet. It's J Dilla and Black Thought, Reality Check. And so if you guys have ever heard that, I hadn't heard this song until it was requested. So I went and listened to it. And I was like, I'm like, is there going to be a lot to discuss? But I think that there kind of is, in a sense. So anyways, let's get into it. I'm not playing the whole full song just because of, copyright issues and whatnot. Let's check it out. All right, let's go into verse one. Essentially, I think it's only one verse. But yeah, we'll get into it. I'm having trouble at the crib. I'm going at it with my baby mother where I live. While the soldiers bleed, the economy recede, and all she want to watch is reality TV. Went from a surreal life to strange love. Some behavior I couldn't figure the flavor. Drive by the charm school where she fell in love with New York and love money. That's what I'm not made of. I bought a membership to the Celebrity Fit Club to see if I could stand a real chance with this love. So he's having some issues with his girl at home, who is also the mother of their child. And he thinks the issues are maybe, a little bit insignificant to like the serious things that are going on in the world and in other people's lives. And he seems very like empathetic, which is a great quality. He talks about like soldiers like having to, give up their lives to fight for their country, and when they get shot or injured and things like that. And that's pretty terrible. And then he also talks about the economic, the housing crash, basically, that happened. And this song came out in 2009. The crash happened in 2008. It obviously continued for a couple of years and still like has affected things, but it's definitely because of that economic dip. And, he's kind of saying like all his girlfriend wants to do is sit around and watch reality TV. And this is pretty much the key part of the whole song. This is like the whole topic that he essentially sticks with for the rest of the song. So without further ado, for those of you who love reality TV shows, I am going to explain to you what he's talking about. So Surreal Love was a show about washed up has-beens trying to like find love, such as Ron Jeremy, the porn star. And Strange Love was about Bridget Nelson and Flavor Flav's relationship and like how like I guess crazy or hectic or whatever that was. Charm School was where a bunch of ladies, I guess, or women who are maybe not too charming, I guess, learn how to be proper. And I'm not sure if there like are other like TV shows mixed in, or if there are any that I kind of mix up or whatever, but I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to like figure it out. I have to like, sometimes there's like a few words that aren't the same as the name of the TV show, and I would find like movies, but like I couldn't find like the TV show that I was like looking for. So it was a bit of a search actually. So I'm gonna try to break them all down. So yeah, Charm School, and I'm not sure if there was like a show about falling in love with New York or something like that. But it also like there's he's telling like the story about how his girlfriend fell in love with New York and how it's a very expensive place and how there's you can spend a lot of money there. But he's kind of like, well, I don't have a lot of money. But then he talks about buying a gym membership to some fancy like hoity-toity club to like impress her. And again, it relates back to Celebrity Fit Club, which was another show where celebrities who were overweight started working out, I think. Like, that sounds pretty boring, in my opinion. But that's me. Real Chance with Love sounded like a weird one. It was like two rich guys on a ranch get a bunch of girls to like come and live with them, I guess, for like a certain amount of time, and like the girls, I guess, have to like clamor over each other, and in order to get the attention of these two guys, it's like Bachelor Extreme, because like they're all in like a house together and there's not really like any escaping or anything like that. So it's just like trying to like win the hearts of these guys just because they have money. So let's keep going. It doesn't make sense the way she tried to turn a G to a gent, but need tough love. Don't get it mixed up. I was one of those wild boys shooting for Sizemore. She was a little live John watching the Osbournes. The best week ever. Had her going for broke like Eddie Griffin or Danny Bonaduce. But no, she never listened. When I drop a super sweet 16, daydreaming of becoming Miss Rap Supreme, or maybe making the band will bring your guns out, sing your lungs out. So she's trying to change him, into a better man, into a gentleman, which he kind of says a G to a gent, which was another TV show about changing kind of troubled guys into classy guys. And Tough Love was another show where like women who were doing like all of like the wrong things in relationships, they go through like basically like a boot camp to like wisen them up, and I guess learn how to be more attractive to guys and not to be like super clingy or like whatever else. It just kind of seems a little bit weird. And he was a wild guy, and Wild Boys was a spin-off of Jackass, which I did not know about before this, actually, but there was like another one that we'll touch on that I did definitely know about. Shooting Sizemore was a show about an actor who was struggling with like his like past like I think issues in his life, and about him trying to get his career back. So I guess there was that one. And the Osbournes, of course. I feel like everybody watched this show back in the day. And honestly, if you haven't seen it, you should probably check it out. Like, it will like make it your next show. If you're looking for something and you've watched all of the shows on Netflix and you're like, oh, I don't know what to put on next, put on the Osbournes. You'll find it hysterical. Like, it's a crazy family. And Ozzy is just like a zombie. But yeah, so, and then Best Week Ever, which I checked out a quick clip of it, and it seems to be like a skit show that like makes jokes about like the celebrity gossip and stories from like the last week, kind of like an SNL. And then Eddie Griffin show Going for Broke, which from what I can tell is basically like a Dragon's Den kind of thing, but then I think, like, I'm not 100% sure on that one. There was also the show Breaking Bonaduce. I hope I'm saying that properly. I've heard the name like a bunch of times in my life, actually, and I was like, who is this guy? And he was like a radio host, and so I guess it was like his shows about himself. I don't know. And then somewhere here, I found personally that the story that like he's trying to tell like throughout the song kind of gets lost, which is kind of fair because you're trying to use all of like these like reality TV show names in your lyrics, and it doesn't always work out. Like, he does an okay job, but then that's what I mean. I feel like at this point he's kind of like losing it a little bit. So anyway, so that's fine. Anyways, My Super Sweet 16 was about basically what it sounds like. You know, spoiled brats having like these like outrageous birthday parties. And Miss Rap Supreme was about finding the next rap star, or like, you know, narrowing down like amazing people to the best one. And Making the Band was exactly, again, how it sounds like. It was basically about making a boy band. And maybe I think there was also one. I mean, there was definitely like Canadian versions of like a bunch of these shows, and probably Quebecois versions, like on like all the French TV. But like there were some shows that were, it wasn't like Making the Band, but there was like, I feel like there was like a Montreal show or something like that. And that's where I am currently, if you don't know. I can't even remember what it was called. Like there was like a girl band that was created and they all lived in a house. I don't know. I'd have to check it out and let you know. But let's keep checking out his song. So Move Out Like Daddy's Girls, out of Run's house, but that's against all odds. Pick apart and might come and try and flip your ride. Real as Real Housewives of Atlanta. Yeah, it's real outside. Ending like an episode of College Hill outside. Whether it be for the love of the payday or for the love of trying to have a baby for Ray J, the most modest model on Project Runway. She want to be Kimura living in the fab lane and changed her last name. And since Gaudy's way was passé, she watched Salt and Pepper and Celeb Rehab Day. That's all she talked about at the cafe. I swear to God, it drove me to drink about half the carafe. Whew, I feel like that one was a tough one. Okay. So I think I've got them all here. So DJ Rev Run's Daughters. I don't know who that is, but apparently he was somebody. Maybe he still is. So I think he was like a New York DJ. So maybe like if you're in New York and you know who he is, let me know. So DJ Rev Run's Daughters were on a show called Daddy's Girls. And Against All Odds is about crazy accomplishments or like whatever of people, and you know, like things that they've like survived or things that they've done and whatever that just seem like out of this world. And it's sort of like they retell kind of like what happened, sort of like what is it, 172 hours later or whatever the movie is with James Franco. I'm like messing everything up today. When he gets his like arm stuck in like the rocks or whatever and he has to cut it off. That's a true story actually, but it's like that sort of thing. And Against All Odds is a show about like crazy accomplishments or like these extreme things that people did or survived or went through, and they just tell their story about what happened, and they sort of like reenacted kind of like a unsolved mysteries kind of situation. And Flip Your Ride, like I assume he's talking about Pimp My Ride. Like I don't know if Flip Your Ride was another show. I couldn't find anything about that, but like I personally remember Pimp My Ride with Exhibit. I feel like anybody who grew up around the same or is the same age as I am would remember that show and like the crazy things that they did to cars. And I think we've all heard of Real Housewives of wherever, because I feel like there's one of every city at this point. And that's just like girl drama that happens. Like I've never seen an actual episode because I can't. I just can't. So yeah, there's that. And there are several kind of options I found for College Hill. I couldn't, but like I imagine that he's talking about like one that I think he's referencing. I don't know if these are on at the same time or like if I'm just, and there are several options for College Hill, but I imagine the show that he's talking about was maybe the show that was on BET at the time about kids being in college. And For the Love of Ray J was about Ray J finding love. And she's modest like a model on Project Runway. And Project Runway was another show where I think they had to design things for like the fashion or whatever for like the runway. And there was like challenges and stuff like that. My roommate used to watch that one. That's how I remember that. And Kimura, Life in the Fast Lane was a show about a model and her life. I don't really know who she is, but she must have been somebody. Growing Up Gotti, or I think I'm saying that right, was a show about life in the home of, I guess, like, you know, this family as teenage boys who grew up and whose parents or father are mafia bosses. So that was kind of, you know, it's like, you know, a very Italian show. I think people love watching Italians. I don't know what it is. Salt and Pepper, they had a reality TV show at the time, so that's kind of what he's talking about there. And Celebrity Rehab was a real thing. Again, exactly what it sounds like, celebrities going to rehab for like their drug or alcohol addictions. And that all he hears about, you know, from his girl is her like telling him about all of these like fucking reality TV shows. And so I think it just causes him to like drink more, and he's like stressing out because it's just nonsense, but it's fun sometimes. Like I enjoy them occasionally. So that's kind of what he's talking about here. My head's still spinning. I'm so through with women who watch reruns of The Real World with Jenner and Kim Kardashian Moms and Bruce Jenner and 3-6 Mafia Show and Jerry Springer, Scott Baio 46 and Knocked Up. I'd rather see the first 48 or Locked Up. Instead, it's just 911. I'm trading spouses, extreme makeover, she arranging the couches. So his head is so full of like all like the stupid stories that he's heard from like his girlfriend. From like reality TV show, and he's just done. He's done with her, and he can't do it anymore, and he's done with women, and he's done with women that watch reality TV shows. And he talks about The Real World, which was a bunch of people living together in a house, and that one was like pretty popular. That was one of like the first ones that I remember like really blowing up. Like I think, like I'm guessing it came after Survivor, because I think that one was like the first one. But, yeah, I would definitely remember hearing a lot about The Real World. I never watched it, though. And then the Kardashians, I'm not even going to touch on that. They're, like, bajillionaires. And 3-6 Mafia had a reality TV show where they, like, went to Hollywood and, like, tried to make it out there from, like, their life as, like, Southern boys going to, like, the big city, I guess. And, I don't know, I think that was about that story. And personally, I grew up on Jerry Springer. Like I used to watch that like every day at noon. I think it came on in the summers. Like I used to just watch that every day, and I thought it was like the best show ever. I probably should not have been watching that at like such a young age, but I probably also shouldn't have been watching like Tom Green and a bunch of other stupid shows. But yeah, so that's, you know, Jerry Springer. I feel like if you don't know who he is, you should look him up. Scott Baio had a show about him being 45 and single and like ready to mingle, and then I guess like the next season he was 46 and pregnant. So I guess it was that escalated quickly. And he's saying that he would rather watch like some more interesting like shows that are reality TV that relate to him, but he's like, you know, she won't let him, and it's only like her shows. And so he's talking about the first 48, which is it's on I think A&E or yeah, it's on A&E I think. If you guys still have cable. So that's about like the first 48 hours after like a serious crime or a murder or something like that, I think, and like kind of how it unfolds and how quickly, you know, they have to find things and like try and piece everything together, because otherwise, like, you know, people forget things, or you know, the evidence is kind of not as accurate 48 hours later and things like that. So it's just about that kind of thing. And Locked Up is about jail inmates, things like that. And Nanny 911 is about teaching your kids basically not to be assholes and cleaning up like these like women just, or I think this woman basically goes and cleans up the messes that their parents made on these children, and like how like they're out of control and like their behavior sucks. So like the nannies come in and like they teach both like the parents and the kids how to behave and how to properly raise a child, which is like great. That show should still be on if it's not, because people still have crazy asshole kids. Probably not you though. Trading spouses, again, exactly as it sounds. It's just to see what the other side is like, I guess. Extreme makeover. There was 2 versions of it. Like the regular one, I think, was about people like undergoing like these like extreme surgeries to, you know, have an extreme makeover to change their looks. But then there was like the home, you know, extreme makeover home edition, which was like, you know, with Ty Pennington, which is basically like every basic bitch likes him. I think he started off on Oprah, I think, but you know, before her show got canceled. Well, not canceled, but before it was taken away. But yeah, I think a lot of basic kind of people liked Ty Pennington. I don't know, he was really hyped up at one point. And I guess this one is about just, you know, home edition, and you know, then he references like moving couches and stuff like that. So I think that's what he's actually referring to. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much it. So we will keep on going. Now she keep changing outfits. I'm about to have to get at Dr. Phil to do something about this. The house not fresh. She not top chef. I tell her viva la bam. She tell me not yet. Watching Cribs. Looking at shit she never gonna get. America's Best Dance Crew. She trying to do the steps. About to do like Beyonce and tell her to the left. Truth be told, she about to television me to death. Yo. So, so she's changing lots of like outfits, and you know, could maybe refer back to like the extreme makeover, like the regular edition. So that could be that. And he's feeling like he might have to get like Dr. Phil involved, and he's whatever TV therapist or whatever the heck he is, interventionist or whatever. So he's there. And you know, saying like she's basically not like a great cook at home. And he says, you know, Top Chef, which was like a cook, or is, I think it's still on, a cooking competition show. And Viva La Bam, essentially another Jackass spinoff, was Bam Margera's show. I always messed up his last name, Margera, I think it is. And I remember that show. I used to watch it like occasionally. I remember there was one where he put like an alligator or a crocodile or whatever in his parents' kitchen or his mom's kitchen, and like how like she like freaked out. So yeah, there's like that kind of stupid shit that happens. Cribs was awesome. I wish that came back, but I'm sure that there's like, I feel like there's like shows on like YouTube where people go like into people's houses and you can see them there. So yeah, this is just about like seeing celebrities' awesome homes, and you know, it does make you want to like, you know, have like a house like that, and like, you know, have all these grand things, and you know, but sadly like most people will never attain that, I guess. I know I'm pretty sure I won't. So yeah, America's Best Dance Crew, and that's about again, same sort of thing that it sounds like. It's about making a winning dance team. And he's so fed up with this girl that he tells her to leave, like Beyonce did in Irreplaceable song, like, you know, to the left, everything you own in a box to the left. And he's about to die from like all of these stories on TV. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the entire song. And I like that it ends with like, yo. It started with yo. I liked how it kind of like came back to that. I mean, when you think about it, I mean, that's the whole song. So it's kind of like a random topic, but something that it's pretty popular. Like even still, like you go to like you know, like the grocery store or whatever, and you're looking at the magazines, or, you know, you see the covers of like the magazines that are like by the cash. And it's like still like people like I've never heard of, or like, you know, like celebrities from like reality TV shows that are like, you know, still having like their 15 minutes of fame and, you know, talking about whatever's going on in their lives or whatever drama's happening on the show. Or I don't know. It's just, I mean, people love it, and it's really cheap. And I think it's going back to, you know, it's 2008, 2009, when this song came out 2009, but it's also relating back to like what was actually happening. So 10 years ago, you know, he's talking about the war. He talked about the soldiers and how they are suffering. And he's talked about the economy and like how that was suffering. So that this is like all of these TV shows are an escape to either not like deal with like all the shit that's going on in like the world at the time, and like all like the suffering. And it's also a cheap way to make TV that's, you know, and you can make a lot of it, as you know, like there's a lot of reality TV shows, and they're all like super easy. You don't have to pay, they're not paid actors necessarily, and like people, you know, it's really cheap to produce these kinds of shows, so like that's why they keep like busting them out, and like they're never gonna go away. So, and like there's also like the chance for some of the TV shows that he's talking about to win, you know, a lot of money or to fame, or, you know, a house, get your house made over, you know, things that you just can't afford, especially like at this time when there was like a, you know, a really like a depression on the stock market. So, yeah, it's interesting. And like this was like sort of like an escape from all of like the crazy world that's going on. So I think it's interesting that he talked about it. Do I think it's an interesting, like a great song? Not necessarily a great, no, I don't think it's a great song, but I think it's interesting what he's talking about. And I think that there is like a message behind it. So I think that that's something that probably maybe people don't always think about. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching, and thank you especially to Jonathan Barnes for recommending this song to me. And he is actually one of our patrons over on Patreon. If you guys want to support us in any way, you can find all the information down below. It's super cheap if you want to, and you can be just like Jonathan Barnes, Linda Williams, DJ Black Hurricane, Chris Prado, and Ismail Gadamsi. So thank you guys always so much. And you can check me out on Twitter at YLF Bonnie over there, or on Instagram at Your Lady Friend Bonnie. And I think we also have a Discord, which I like have barely used. I'm like trying to make my way through all of this, but that's me. So that, yeah, thanks guys. And if you guys have any other song suggestions that you want to see me break down, leave those down in the comments down below, and yours could be next. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye!